Welcome to the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Non-Public Education's presentation on federal education programs and benefits for private school students and teachers. My name is Pamela Allen, and I am with the Office of Non-Public Education. And our mission is to foster maximum participation of private school students and teachers in federal education programs and initiatives. We serve as the department's liaison to the non-public school community. And OMPE has a long-standing and very positive relationship with NCEA, as well as with numerous other national, state, and private school organizations. We're very appreciative of the role private schools have in educating our nation's youth, and we value very much the value you place on your independence and autonomy to pursue your unique missions and pedagogies. As we begin, let's review the outcomes that this session is geared toward. So by the end of today's session, you will leave with increased knowledge and tools to access federal education programs for which private school students and teachers are eligible, and you'll be able to navigate strategies and resources related to the federal education programs that include equitable services provisions. So there's a great resource for you, which is the OMPE website, which is located within the U.S. Department of Education's website. It's a little tricky to visit and navigate, so if you go to ed.gov, ed.gov, and they go into the search bar and type in OMPE, our acronym, the first link that you get will bring you to our homepage. And when you're there, we hope that you'll subscribe to our listserv, which is a way that we inform our stakeholders about critical information that is timely and helpful to the non-public school community. So please be sure to navigate there. And also located on here is the Ombudsman corner, where you can locate a directory of Ombudsman if you have an interest in contacting your state ombudsman for the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Let's take a look at the list of programs we're going to provide an overview for in today's session. For your convenience, when you go back later to review these slides, each one of these programs is hyperlinked for you so that you can click it and navigate to the slide that it's connected to, and then review the information on those slides. Within each of those slides, there are links embedded to each of the programs on the Department of Education's website. So we'll talk about the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, also known as ESEA, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, and the Equitable Services requirements in both of those programs. We'll talk about the Blue Ribbon Schools and Green Ribbon Schools and how your schools can apply to be one of those. The School Ambassador Fellowship. We'll talk about the REMS program, Readiness and Emergency Management for Schools, Teacher Loan Forgiveness and Cancellation Programs, the National Center for Educational Statistics, and NAEP, the National Assessment for Education Progress, some other federal programs run by other federal agencies, and we'll provide our contact information at the end. Let's start with equitable services under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, known as ESEA, which was reauthorized in 2015 as the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. Since the enactment of ESEA in 1965, the law has required local educational agencies, or LEAs, to provide equitable services to private school students, teachers, and in some cases parents, in numerous ESEA programs. This was based on something called the child benefit principle, or child benefit theory, meaning, in short, that ESEA programs benefit children as opposed to schools. And if a child is eligible, he or she is entitled to receive program services. Under the ESEA, there are a number of major programs that have equitable services provisions. It is important to note that the equitable services are not provided in the form of money to the private schools. Rather, they are provided through the LEA in the form of direct services to eligible students, teachers, and in some cases their parents. Equitable services can be provided in a variety of ways to eligible students, teachers, and parents, and they may include things, for example, like support for academically at-risk students, English language learners, professional development for teachers, and readiness and emergency management for schools, among a few of them. Here's a list of programs under ESEA for which eligible private school students, and as appropriate, their teachers and parents, may receive equitable services. Often, programs are identified by their title, such as Title I, which is the first program listed here. If your school is interested in any of the programs but has not been contacted by the district to conduct consultation, we recommend that the principal contact the local public school district official who is responsible for the program's administration to obtain information about these programs and to request consultation. You can also reach out to the ESEA State Ombudsman, a state designated official who is required under the ESEA to monitor and enforce the district's implementation of the equitable services requirements. This individual can help you and assist you if you encounter any challenges at the local level. And for a list of the ombudsman, visit our website, the OMPE website, and you can directly contact the ombudsman from that list. Let's highlight several points related to the LEA's responsibility to provide for equitable participation of private school students and teachers, and sometimes their parents, under ESEA. The LEA is the entity who is responsible for administering the program, and it must remain in control of the program funds and the expenditures, must be equal on a per pupil basis to the expenditures for participating public school children, taking into account the educational needs and numbers of students to be served. The LEA must provide services that address the needs of private school students, teachers, and parents, equitable to those provided to public school students, teachers, and parents. And the LEA must assess and evaluate the services provided to assure that they meet the needs of the population served. The LEA must also conduct timely and meaningful consultation with private school officials and must provide services that are secular, neutral, and non-ideological, and that supplement, not supplant, the services or program that the school provides absent of the federal services. Timely and meaningful consultation is an important part of the process. The consultation process between public and private school officials should result in a program designed to meet the education needs of eligible program participants. And consultation should be entered into with the goal of reaching agreement, as the law states. Consultation must include meetings between LEA officials and appropriate private school officials, and must occur before LEA officials make any decision that affects the opportunity for eligible program participants to participate. Timely and meaningful consultation between the LEA and private school officials during the design, development, and implementation of the program is required on the following issues: how the needs will be identified, what services will be offered, how and when decisions about the delivery of services will be made, how, where, and by whom services will be provided, how services will be assessed and improved based upon assessment results, the size and scope of services, proportion of funds allocated for services, methods for determining poverty, equitable services to teachers and parents of participants, and whether a third-party contractor will be used. It is important to remember that LEA officials make the final decision regarding provision of services after consultation has occurred. In 2019, the department published updated non-regulatory guidance for Title I Part A of ESEA, and as amended by the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESEA. This non-regulatory guidance consolidates and updates information previously included in multiple documents and is intended to support state and local education agencies and private school officials in the implementation of the equitable services requirements under Title I Part A. This guidance document includes many frequently asked questions regarding Title I equitable services and is intended to be used in conjunction with the Title I statute and any applicable regulations. Updated non-regulatory guidance for Title VIII is in the development. And you might want to pause right now if you're interested in going to follow these links and take a look at that guidance. Let's shift gears now to talk about IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. IDEA is the federal law that ensures that all children with disabilities receive a free, appropriate public education, also known as FAPE. And it provides benefits and services to children with disabilities in public schools as well as non-public schools, private schools, including those in religious schools. However, when parents choose to enroll their child with a disability in a private school, when the question of providing FAPE is not at issue, the public school district's responsibility will differ from its responsibility to serve public school students. And under the IDEA, LEAs have an obligation to provide parentally placed private school children with disabilities an opportunity for equitable participation in the services funded with federal Part B funds that the LEA has determined, after consultation, to make available to its population of parentally placed private school children with disabilities. The amount of Part B funds available for these services is based on the proportionate share calculation. ONPE has created a number of resources to help clarify the IDEA requirements. This booklet here, pictured, specifically addresses these requirements. It's available on ONPE's website as a PDF. The image is hyperlinked to that document, so you can pause right now if you'd like to, click the document and go visit it and download it for your future reference. Also on this page is a direct link to the IDEA requirements as well, so you could click that if you paused now too. There's a basic requirement for the provision of equitable services under IDEA. It's important to note that timely and meaningful consultation must occur before any decisions are made that will affect the participation of private school students in Part B programs. Decisions about the services may not be made in advance or in absence of timely and meaningful consultation. After timely and meaningful consultation has occurred with private school representatives and representatives of parents of parentally placed private school children with disabilities, the LEA is responsible for making final decisions about all aspects of the services to be provided to that population. When it comes to IDEA consultation, consultation is a mandatory process that involves discussions between the LEA, private school representatives, and representatives of parents of parentally placed private school children with disabilities on key issues relating to the equitable participation of private school children with disabilities in federally funded special education and related services. Each LEA, sometimes if appropriate an SEA, must consult in a timely and meaningful way with private school representatives and those parent representatives of parentally placed private school children with disabilities during the design and development of special education and related services for that population of students. It's important to note that a unilateral offer of services by an LEA with no opportunity for discussion is not adequate consultation. And as such, such an offer does not meet the basic requirements of consultation process. It's only after discussing these key issues relating to the provision of special education and related services with all representatives, then that LEA may make its final decisions with respect to the services to be provided to the eligible private school children with disabilities. Let's move on now to school choice. And with the growth of private school choice programs across our country, it's important to note that participation in a federal or state private school choice program does not affect a private school student's eligibility for equitable services under ESEA or IDEA programs. Like other private school students, a student is eligible for equitable services if the student meets the eligibility requirements for the program. Now let's talk about the National Blue Ribbon Schools program. Some of you may have already received this prestigious recognition, but the National Blue Ribbon Schools program was established in 1982 to recognize the hard work of students, educators, families, and communities in creating safe and welcoming schools where students master challenging content. Private schools that meet the criteria of exemplary high-performing schools can be nominated. The application process begins in the fall and usually at the end of October. The department has invited the Council for American Private Education to nominate private schools for the Blue Ribbon School program. And for private schools, the application process starts with CAPE in October. CAPE submits formal nominations of schools in January, and final applications are due to the department in February. Then the Secretary of Education typically announces the recipients in September, and all are invited to attend an award ceremony in Washington that fall. If you're interested in learning more about this program, you can pause right now and click the links on this page to visit CAPE's website for the application information and the deadlines. Similarly, the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools is also open to private schools to apply. And this program is geared to inspire schools to be resource efficient, promote safe and healthy communities, and provide environmental and sustainability education to students. Since the very first year of the award in 2012, many private schools have been recognized as Green Ribbon awardees to highlight their exemplary practices of achievement under the 3 pillars of program requirements. And schools must be nominated by their state education agency to be a U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon School. So details about this program, the application requirements, and whatnot are located on the program website, and the link is included here on this slide. So you might want to pause now if you're interested in going over there to learn more about it. Next up is the School Ambassador Fellowship Program. This program is designed to improve education for students by involving educators in the development and implementation of national education policy. And they do this by creating a cadre of outstanding educators to contribute to their classroom and to the school and their school expertise to the national education dialogue. And in turn, facilitate discussions with educators across the country. For fellows, the program adds a greater knowledge of educational policy and leadership to their toolkits, allowing them to further contribute to solutions at all levels for long, intractable challenges in education. The program offers a couple of main tracks that are year-long tracks. The Washington Fellowship is a full-time fellowship appointment based at the department's headquarters in DC, and the Campus Fellowship is a part-time fellowship that enables educators to remain on site at their schools. Additional information about this program is available by following this link on this slide, and you can pause now if you'd like to scoot on over there to take a look. Well, this is a hot topic of late. The Readiness and Emergency Management Technical Assistance Center is a great resource for schools. It supports schools, both public and private, school districts and institutions of higher education with their and community partners in the development of high-quality emergency operations plans and comprehensive emergency management planning efforts. It also offers resources to address a wide array of situations, everything from national disasters to pandemics, to dating violence, and even lead poisoning. The resources are all free and include both archived webinar trainings and PowerPoint presentations for download, as well as online courses available for you if you're interested in self-paced individual learning. Additionally, live trainings are available by request for delivery on site at schools and districts and institutions of higher education. The REMS TA staff are available to respond to your direct requests for TA on a variety of topics that are relevant to your school and your community. And they also have an interactive emergency management planning tools available through the TA Center. And that includes an online self-assessment and evaluation tools designed to evaluate your school and the capacity to create a high-quality emergency operations plan, or EOP. It also has a software tool available for you to use, and it will guide you through the process of generating your own high-quality EOP. They also have a community of practice, which is a virtual space for representatives from schools and school districts and their community partners to collaborate on special projects and share news and resources, discuss trends and ideas, and learn from the experiences of others in the field. So you could pause right now if you'd like to click on that link and head over to the REM site. Some of you may have been able to take advantage of these programs, which are teacher loan forgiveness and teacher loan cancellation programs. In accordance with the Higher Education Act, there are two types of loan forgiveness programs for teachers, or both private schools and public schools can participate if you're eligible. And the two buckets are, one, the teacher loan forgiveness or direct subsidized loans, direct unsubsidized loans, subsidized federal stafford loans, and unsubsidized federal stafford loans. And two, the teacher cancellation for federal Perkins loans. There are detailed eligibility requirements through these links that you could follow. And it also talks about what amounts can be forgiven or canceled, as well as how to apply. So go ahead and click those links and visit those program websites so that you can learn more about the program to determine whether or not you're eligible for them. Let's shift gears a little bit to talk about some stats. If you like stats, the National Center for Educational Statistics is the place for you. NCES houses a variety of information based on surveys that they run in the field. And one survey is the Private School Universe Survey, which is run biennially and collects data on school characteristics such as enrollment, affiliation, and staff. Private school students are part of the longitudinal studies that follow cohorts of students over a period of years as well. And private school teachers and principals are asked to participate in the schools and staffing survey to learn more about that. So you can follow the links on this page to the NCES websites to learn more. If you have any interest in specific stats about non-public schools, in the fall of 2019, there were 5.7 million students enrolled in non-public schools, which is up 3% higher than the fall of 1985 enrollment. About 10% of elementary and secondary school students were enrolled in private schools in 2019, and approximately 25% of schools in America are private schools. Additional information about these stats are located in the links below in the footnotes and the sources, so you can follow those directly. If you wanted to pause now, you could do that and go over and visit and explore the site for NCES. Another important program is called the Nation's Report Card, also known as the National Assessment for Education Progress, or NAEP. Some of your schools may participate in this program or have participated in the years. So in order to have a complete picture of academic progress of our nation's students, participation of private schools is necessary. And NCES will publish the results of the NAEP, and the private school subgroup must have at least 70% participation rate in order to be able to publish those results. In the past few years, however, the participation rate has not always been met, and thus the department hasn't been able to report on all of the results for the nation's national private schools. That said, overall participation among Catholic schools, even though it has fallen over the years, it still has met the 70% participation rate. And thus the department has been able to publish findings about Catholic schools, even in cases where we can't report out on the national private school results in general. So more information about this is located on the NAEP website. You can click this link to find out more about the programs and the assessments that are conducted and where the Catholic schools have scored over the years. A great resource on our website is something we call the State Regulations of Private and Home Schools. We have an interactive state regulation map housed on the OMPE site for your reference and resource. Now, in general, government regulation of private school is limited. So if any regulation is made, it's usually imposed on at the state or local level. And for your convenience, OMPE provides this information for you on this interactive map. So the resource provides a synopsis of state regulations relevant to non-public education and provides essential links for reference. It's important to know that this document is not regularly updated annually, and thus if you find information and you're interested in learning more, you would always want to reach out and contact the individual State Department of Education to confirm the information to make sure it's current and up to date, and inquire about any changes that may have occurred since the publication of that state's information. On our website, we also have information about U.S. Supreme Court rulings, and you can find that link as well, similar to this state regulation map. Finally, I want to draw your attention to and take a look at a few federal programs that are administered by agencies outside of the Department of Education that are relevant to the non-public school community. And for your convenience, OMPE links to these on our website. And when you click the link, it'll lead you to other agencies' websites from ours so that you can go directly to the source of the program. And given that the programs are listed here are administered by other federal agencies about the department, we encourage you to reach out to the individual program contacts that are listed should you have any questions. So for instance, if you wanted to learn more about the President's Environmental Youth Award, PEYA, P-E-Y-A, you would click on that link and you could go visit it over to the EPA. So that would be like right here, and you can click it and go visit it. If you were interested in learning more about the National Student Poets Program, you would come over here and click the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities. Well, we've come to the end of this session, and I want to thank you so very much for spending time with me today. I hope you found this information helpful to you in the work that you do. I encourage you to go back through the slides, click on the links, and revisit the ones that you have interested in learning more about. You're also welcome to contact us directly if you have any questions or concerns or want to offer some comments. And you can reach out to us directly at 202-401-1365, or you can send us an email at onpe@ed.gov. Again, my name is Pamela Allen, and it was my privilege to spend time with you today. Take care, and I hope to see you sometime soon.